Peace and paradigm shifting. What's up, good people? It's Twilight, and today I'm talking with you guys while I'm on my road trip about why I say loyalty has an expiration date. First, I want to impart the wisdom on people that a lot of times we're operating with a savior complex. And I find this to be most acute amongst men. Now, fellas, don't get upset with me, all right? But a lot of the men who will come from the hood, an urban area, they have this undying loyalty to their friends and the people that they grew up with, and the people that have not yet come to the level of consciousness that it's time to make moves forward. It's time to let some things go. And ultimately, what we always revert to is a thought process that these individuals are just like me. These individuals have had situations just like me. And I wish that when I was dealing with XYZ, somebody would have pulled me out. But here is the flaw in your logic. You had a desire, okay? The prerequisite for change is not the actions that you make, nor is it the actual benefits that you get from change. It is a desire. So at that time, you likely had a desire in your heart. You just didn't know where to start at. So you begin to do different things, failing forward, making mistakes, going backwards, backsliding, and whatever have you. And so ultimately, that desire was the energy and the momentum that kept you going through the difficult times of failure. But what happens when someone does not have a desire to change, and you are continuously trying to show them the way by showing them all the benefits that change is going to bring them? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Not a damn thing. Yep. You're going to spin your wheels. You're going to spend all your energy attempting to go ahead and inspire someone who has not yet made the connections internally. I don't know if you guys know this saying, but there's a saying that says there must be a change in the spirit before the outer man can be renewed. What does that tell us? Inspiration, the initial prerequisite to inspiration, the prefix is in. That means it's internal. And spirit is also included in the word inspiration. So it means it's an internal spiritual change that happens inside of a person, and that is why they are inspired. Not necessarily by seeing people win in life, but because there's something that clicks inside of them internally. So most of us have this flawed logic that once we go ahead and present people with opportunities and they see that there's a different way, that ultimately they're going to go that different way, and that is incorrect, because people have free will. They have to have a desire before they are able to build the momentum to go through the changes and the process necessary to make good decisions, okay? Because here's what happens, people. When you are going through a transition and you're changing, there's going to be failure. There's going to be trials. There's going to be tribulation. You're going to need to be able to have the internal gas to get through that, okay? And that comes from a inner man conversation. Something changes on the inside. Thank you, brother. All right, I'm about to get out this Uber, y'all. I'll be back with my motivation talk. Yeah, yo. Let me make sure I got my wallet. I got this bag. All right, cool. Appreciate it, bro. So, a lot of times when you guys have made it out of the hood, you forgot the one key component or out of a bad situation: desire. Okay? You can't make nobody desire a damn thing. So many of us try to take on this role as a savior. Okay, we try to think that we can go out there and turn people's ways and lives around by showing them the benefits of what change has brought for them, not recognizing the fact that they don't have a desire. So what are we doing? We're out here, we're spinning our wheels, we're giving our all, we're showing people a different way, a different light, and they talking to you about it, but they have not made the internal connections. A lot of times, people don't have the self-worth to make the changes within themselves. And self-worth requires valuing yourself. It requires wanting to know something different about yourself and open up some things within yourself. Now, here's another key component. We are living in an energy-based world, in an energy-based system. And a lot of us, okay, have lost our spiritual connection. A lot of us have traded our spiritual connection for a goddamn pair of socks, for a paycheck, for some boyfriend, girlfriend liking us, for sex, for fake clout. How many people out here clout chasing? You see? So what I'm saying to you is this, is ultimately, you have to understand that a lot of people have severed their connection with spirit, and they have that absolute choice. See, in this world of free will, people cannot stand the consequences. They think that they are standing by idly if they are allowing people to make their choices, decisions, highs and lows. No, it's not you standing by idly. It is you respecting the person who made their decision to put their person in alignment with what they're putting their person in alignment with. You see, even in spiritual systems all over the world, we understand that free will is a big key component in what people choose to do. So the reason that I say loyalty have an expiration date is because what you must understand is you can't put a desire in no fucking body. Desire comes from within. It is an internal connection, and it is an internal process. There must be a change in the spirit before the outer man can be renewed. So you can't put desire in nobody. That's one thing you can't do. You can show them all the ways and all the things and all the beautiful things in life, but you cannot put a desire in them. You are going to be remiss. You are going to be spinning your wheels, draining your energy, and trying to pull along dead weight. Because if a person has free will and they have not made the decision that they want to make a change, or you don't see any redeeming qualities that show that they want to, and here's another thing. Stop trying to pretend and force people to have redeeming qualities. Some people don't want what you want out of life. Some people don't care about the shit you care about. And no matter how passionate and how great of an argument you make, you can only lead a horse to water. You cannot make them drink it. So many people are out here trying to force people to drink water. If I'm a person that's starving and thirsty, and somebody say, here's a smorgasbord and a buffet of food, and here is a lake of clean water, and I say, I don't want it. What you gonna do? Force the damn food down my throat? Force the damn water down my throat? So many of us are out here trying to force people to see a different way because we truly believe and desire that, or we truly believe and know that if they knew this different way, they would flourish. And that is a beautiful thing, to want to make these human connections. But we have to understand that we have to respect people's person. If they don't have the desire, they don't have it. Don't keep trying to project onto people what you feel they need to do in life because you are suffering without them. Now let's talk about this a little bit more. Most of the time, we get our identity from the people around us, whether it's our family members, brothers, sisters, cousins, auntie, uncles, so on and so forth. And this is how we are frameworking ourselves. So when we do not have these particular connections, we feel empty. We feel like we're not whole. We feel less than. And that is because our feet is not firmly planted in the ground in self-identification and self-knowledge. We feel as if though we sever those connections, that ultimately a part of us is leaving. But a lot of times that part of us needs to go, because that's the part of us that's holding us back. So instead of looking at it as, oh, I'm not going to be whole, I'm not going to know who I am, I'm not going to be able to face myself, you know what I'm saying? Look at it as, I'm having some trouble being grounded in my own self-identification. A lot of us have compromised our self-identification through the trials and tribulations that we went through in life. We've accumulated habits and behaviors that no longer serve our highest good. And we're just so used to interacting with a certain frequency that we don't know when to let go. We don't know when to say fucking when. We don't know when the shit is over with. Like, one thing I'm really clear on in my life, when some shit is fucking over with. My last job, I worked there, and I was there for like a year and a half. And I went through so many trials and tribulations at that job. I worked so hard during a certain period in time to ensure that I kept that little job, and ensure that I tried to get along with people, and ensure that I did my very best at that job. But the place was toxic. Okay, there was nothing that I could do to change the environment. Okay, it was a culture that had already been created. And when you are dealing with a culture, you are dealing with a spider web of dynamics and factors that you can't affect, because the spider web is full of so many different odds and ends that you tear down one part of the spider web, it's more than enough space and connections there to sustain the spider web. So here I am trying to affect change in a culture that had fundamentally, let's just make it simple. The culture been around for like 10 years, and here I am trying to change something in 10 weeks. It's not going to happen. So eventually, when it was time, even though it wasn't like the way that I would have wanted it to go, it wasn't an easy, seamless transition with no drama, I had to let it go when it was time to let it go. Because my soul knew that holding on to this thing was going to hurt me more than actually leaving it away. Now, after letting it go. Now, after that, I didn't sit around and piss and moan about the abrupt change that I had to make, because no, that would have caused resistance in my vibration and blocked my energy to receive abundance. No, I accepted that part of the story was over, and it was time to embrace and write a new chapter in my experience. When I opened myself up for that, I opened myself up for a really great opportunity. And I'm very happy that that opportunity came to fruition. But check the story. When it was over, I let it go. I didn't look back. I stayed forward. I kept my feet planted on the ground, and I was sure of my decision. And I accepted the consequences that came along with it. No pissing, no moaning, no bullshit, no backsliding. Then I opened myself up for abundance, because vibrationally I became a match to the things that were abundant for me. So what happened was I was able to move forward and collect more abundance. Now I'm understanding that this particular formula is the way to deal with challenges and changes in your life. Acceptance, my people. Okay? So, again, loyalty has an expiration date, because people have free fucking will. Period, point blank. You cannot put desire into people. You cannot make them feel guilty enough to make the changes that you think that they need to make. You have to accept what you see and make choices from there. Make wise decisions. And they say, don't forget where you came from. How the fuck you gonna forget? Because I'm going to tell you just like this. Me being a girl from a hood, you can tell from the way that I talk, no matter how intelligently or articulately I say things. That's always going to be within me. But within my arsenal, it is time for me to upgrade my bullets, okay? I'm not loading my gun with the same type of stuff that I loaded my gun with in 1997. It's 2019. It's time for some new sources. It's time for some new ways of thinking. It's time for some new perspectives and paradigms. It's time to upgrade. And sometimes upgrade means that you step away from people, and it doesn't mean you don't love them. It means that you have to accept that you may have to love them from a distance in order to get the abundance that and the what's the word I'm looking for? The increase that's right in front of your face, but you can't connect to the vibration because you are connected to things that no longer serve your highest good. Peace and abundance.